The W14 Mercedes 2023 Challenger will be officially revealed on February the 15th in an online reveal ahead of pre-season testing. Meanwhile, the Silver Arrows were kind enough to provide some details, and it is expected that the new car will be a significant improvement over the W13's failures last season. So let's take a look at the W14 car, what we can expect from the team this season, and some other factors that may play a role in their attempt to mount a comeback. In order to determine whether the W14 Mercedes car will be a direct evolution of its predecessor or not, it is important to start with the previous year's machine. And in light of Toto Wolff's recent remarks about its continuity in terms of visible shape, this approach makes even more sense. The rumors that the W14 will be a conceptual revolution from many perspectives are supported by sources both inside and outside the team. And the fact remains that the W13 was a difficult car to fully exploit for the majority of 2022. After the Zero sidepod version made its debut during the pre-season tests in Bahrain, it was clear that the Brackley team's goals would have to be scaled back. Due to the concept's proclivity for porpoising, the team was unable to fully realize the potential that the engineers had identified in the simulations. To reduce the aerodynamic bouncing, ride heights that were much higher than ideal were required, which significantly reduced the amount of downforce generated by the floor. While the engineers working under Mike Elliott's direction looked for the missing performance, the car continued to behave in an unpredictable manner on a variety of tracks for most of the campaign. Toto Wolff recently stated that the W14 will retain a significant amount of the DNA from the previous model. The major changes instead will be made below the floor, specifically in the diffuser and Venturi channel sections, as well as under the bodywork. This year, teams will again face a challenge in making their cars lighter, as the minimum weight has been reduced to 796 kilograms. The gearbox will also represent a significant evolution for Mercedes, with a different configuration of the critical elements of the rear suspension. At the power unit level, technicians led by Hywell Thomas are confident that it can compete with Ferrari and Honda. In collaboration with technical partner Petronas, significant effort has also been put into improving combustion, and a new fuel formulation has improved consumption efficiency. Wolff, on the other hand, is eager to play things down, rather than predict Mercedes will be able to start the season noticeably better than it ended last year. He believes that Red Bull, which dominated for much of last year, will continue to be the team to beat, and that Mercedes must remain realistic about the difficulty of that task. Explained Wolff. Mercedes' chances of fighting at the front in 2022 have been severely hampered by its recent focus on problem-solving rather than performance gains. As a result, it struggled for much of the season until a promising upgrade package arrived in Austin. Wolff hopes that Mercedes will be able to compete with the frontrunners by the beginning of 2023, giving it the platform it needs to move forward. He added. Another factor that could work in Mercedes' favor is their factory Rethink. See, the team realized early on it needed to upgrade its design tools after discovering the severity of its porpoising problem during the pre-season tests. Mercedes' efforts to improve its design tools were reportedly focused on making its CFD systems more efficient, so that they could better model the porpoising problem, which had been computationally very expensive during the initial phase of the W13's conception. Mercedes' efforts to improve its design tools eventually resulted in the floor and front wing updates that were introduced at the Spanish and US Grand Prix events respectively. Andrew Shovlin, Mercedes Director of Trackside Engineering, explained how this helped the team address the issues. He said, "These redesigns have been instrumental in assisting the team in gaining a better understanding of their issues near the end of the season and will undoubtedly assist them in 2023. Even though the initial reports from the engineers in Brackley are promising, there is another factor that could have a significant impact on the team. As you may be aware, Mercedes Director of Strategy, James Vowles, will leave the team to become team principal at Williams. That decision could be a significant setback for Mercedes because Vowles was a key member of the team and a major factor in their success over the previous 10 years. Vowles has been Mercedes' chief strategist since 2010. The team has won 8 Constructors' Championships and 7 Drivers' Championships during this time. He has been in Formula One for 21 years, previously with BAR, Honda and Braun, where he won the first of his 9 Constructors' Championships. And given that Mercedes had their worst season in nearly 10 years last year, losing such an experienced team member is not ideal. Wolff, however, believes Mercedes has enough strength throughout to lighten the load, and Vowles has been involved in the planning for members of his strategy team to step up. He said, "While Mercedes has long benefited from Vowles' involvement and will miss his invaluable advice, it has been revealed that there was a change in strategy as early as the middle of last year when he stepped back from such a direct role. In an effort to advance his career, Mercedes removed Vowles from direct participation in strategy calls and assigned him new responsibilities in areas such as the Young Driver Program and contracts. These changes meant that the Mercedes race strategy was already in place, and Vowles only needed to keep an eye on things. Because the strategy team is already well established, Mercedes expects to simply redistribute Vowles' other areas of responsibility among individuals at Brackley, which may be easier said than done, but it is not the end of the world. In fact, when Wolff informed their star driver Lewis Hamilton of Vowles' departure, Hamilton reportedly offered him some words of encouragement. Added Wolff, Vowles explained that he too had received a positive reaction from Hamilton over the news. But when it comes to James Vowles' departure, the focus has been less on the impact it will have on Mercedes and more on Williams potentially becoming a sister team to the Silver Arrows. As a customer team, Williams already receives an engine and gearbox supply from Mercedes F1. Furthermore, it aided George Russell's development for 3 years prior to joining Mercedes and provided him with his F1 debut in 2019. However, in contrast to some pundits' predictions, Vowles asserted that his move would not result in an expansion of the ties between the two operations, even if his approach is more Mercedes-esque. Said Vowles, "What are your thoughts on Mercedes' aspirations for this season? Are they realistic? And will James Vowles' departure throw a monkey wrench in the works? Please let us know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking it and subscribing. Be sure to click the bell icon to be notified of future uploads. Thank you for tuning in.